You're not going to be depressed when you're pursuing a purpose. So the Presidential Overland Camper is in the shop right now, just waiting to get a diagnostic back. There's something wrong with the anti-lock brakes, and you know, fortunately, since I didn't give up when things got rough, didn't give up when the transmission went out right after the engine got replaced, not even knowing how I would get through it, I didn't give up, I didn't run home, and now 9-10 months later, I'm in a position where when problems happen like this, I'm equipped to handle them. You know, it's interesting. I'm down here in San Luis Obispo. This is Higuera. This is the entertainment district. I spent a lot of time living up above San Luis Obispo in the National Forest, and I don't know if I'm supposed to go with the walk sign or not. I'm in the bike lane. Oh well, hopefully I don't get arrested. So I never really ran around down here. You know, I stopped drinking before I came out here, and you know, we've got this beautiful weather now, man, and all these cool spots to hang out. But what do they have to offer, right? Like, I eat super healthy. I don't consume alcohol. I don't smoke. What am I supposed to do with all this? So it's kind of a weird feeling, you know. I found this really cool little spot, just a little hidden hallway that opens up to a bunch of, you know, beer, wineries, food. You know, the type of place I would have been really stoked on finding back in the day. It was still cool to run into, but you know, I look around in there and I'm like, you know, this is just part of an old life. You know, I'm doing something different and better now, something better for myself, and respecting the greatest gift that anyone could have, and we all have, and that's our body and our health. Just that some of us choose not to respect them in the way that we really should. So, you know, it's kind of weird now that I'm out here around all of this entertainment, but I won't eat any of the stuff they serve anywhere. I won't drink any of the stuff they serve. So, you know, trying to find a different way to keep myself entertained has been, I mean, it hasn't been interesting because all I ever do is I work out, I work on my YouTube. I'm pursuing purpose. And, you know, I don't always get the same instant dopamine hits as if, you know, I were smashing food or drinks in my face or playing video games. But I feel good every moment. You know, I know I'm actually working towards this purpose of serving humanity, of helping men who have lost their path and can't get back on the right track, getting sober and fit. And, you know, this is just the very beginning. This has all just started to truly come into place where I can define it and understand it. And truck in the bike lane. I think he's turning without a signal. You know, that was part of coming out here, of leaving everything behind, of giving all my stuff away and just driving west to figure things out. You know, initially I thought I was taking at least 6 months off drinking because I was going to be somewhere around weed. And one thing led to another. I kept stacking wins, I kept making improvements, and then I stopped smoking weed too. You know, and along the way I've also gotten my nutrition completely on point. My workouts, I was always real serious about working out since that first day I stepped in the gym, but you know, 6 days a week, I don't miss. I'm fasting now. I'm, 16 hours into this fast. I like to work out early, but I only do abs workouts while I'm fasted. So today's gonna be legs once I get the car back and get some food in me. But, you know, yeah, I feel a little lethargic, but I also I don't feel bad. I don't feel a real craving to stuff any food in my face. I've got a backpack full of tuna, sparkling water, got some beef jerky. You know, not 100% ideal just because it's preserved and processed, but it's low calorie, high protein. Even got some protein chips back there. Again, not 100% ideal, but stick them next to a bag of Doritos and look at the nutrition information. You know, I'm figuring out, I've known this for a while. I really want to get off grid. I want to stop purchasing things that waste natural resources. They create packaging and trash. You know, I want to live off of produce that I garden, that I farm, off of, you know, I've got friends that are hunters. I've never been a hunter. I've helped butcher a deer before. You know, I'd be interested in hunting, or at least doing some bartering and finding, you know, some neighbors or somebody who I could get some meat from, you know, freshly killed animals that I could trade my veggies and produce for. You know, I've landed back down. I think I'm pretty close to that cool little spot that I found. I don't know which direction it is, honestly. We're gonna keep going for a minute. Maybe I'll walk you through there, because it's a really cool little spot. But you know, it's, again, learning that my life is different now. What I'm doing is different. The things I want are different. Oh no, we're all the way back to the shop. And oh, check this out, brand new watch. Part of my pretty awesome birthday gift this year. My family really kind of hooked it up. I think they moved some investments around and broke free of a little bit of extra money. And if you haven't seen it already, I've now got a weight set that I carry on my new roof rack, both part of that birthday present, and I go out to the beach with more content coming in places like mountaintops and work out outdoors. So I'm gonna go walk back up the block and see if I can find that little spot that I found earlier that was kind of cool just to walk through. Yeah, so since I haven't been going out at all, I didn't even know this existed. I was just walking by, took a look in here, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. I'm just gonna take you on a quick walk through here. Although, you know, something else interesting about this whole sobriety and not eating bad at all the entire time I've been out is I would not have been able to afford this mission, this pursuit that I was on to get myself healthy, get my mind and spirit right, and to find my true purpose out here. So, you know, I mean, just a couple drinks can make a big difference on your amount of money sitting in your wallet. And when I was drinking a lot, boy, I was giving up a whole lot of hours of my life trading for the dollars, getting nothing out of them. And you know, I'm gonna take a look over here. See, this would have been a spot. I would have been in there. I would have been getting crunk. I would have been back over here, testing out some wine. You know, I mean, it's a really cool little spot, but things like this would have also kept me from finding my mission on how I'm intend to have an impact positively on humanity, how I can help people that had a problem, that have a problem that I had and can relate to. And you know, by abstaining from these things that were, you know, provide temporary pleasure, I've been able to find a path towards true joy and fulfillment. I mean, even talking about this mission, I get emotional because, I mean, we all need purpose. There's so much depression in the world. Everybody just keeps themselves busy with social media, with Netflix, with video games. They're always distracted, and then they, you know, get bored. They don't have any purpose. They get bored and they go and lean on vices, drugs, alcohol, addictions, spending money, pornography, you know, promiscuous life, just all these different things that come as a result of the world we live in, with all this noise, all this constant distraction, all these ways to entertain ourselves for short periods of time, and then get bored the second we don't have all these little meaningless dopamine hits. And next thing you know, like all of that time could be going into something of true purpose. All that energy could be going into something of true purpose, and you're not going to be depressed when you're pursuing a purpose, when you've actually got a meaning in this world, when when your life is impacting others, impacting yourself, even your family. I mean, I don't have kids. I'm divorced. I'm going to stay that way for a long time. But I can't tell you how many people I know who have family, who have kids, who work their 9 to 5. They've got a stable life. They've got their house and their mortgage, and I can just tell that spiritually they're defeated, that they still don't have their purpose, and they're watching their life waste away, trading hours for dollars, trading a lot of those dollars for interest, which the bank creates out of thin air using something called fractional reserve borrowing, fractional reserve banking. Look that one up. It's really, the whole system is intended to keep us dependent on them, compliant to them. They don't want people to gain their own financial sovereignty, to be free of being an employee. And things like alcohol, unhealthy consumption, stuffing your face full of pizza and burritos, those help keep you locked in to being reliant and compliant. And that's exactly what the system wants. So, when you're out there, if you're trying to find some purpose, feeling depressed, think that the depression is something that should be medicated away. I was on antidepressants. This is another thing I overcame on this. I quit taking antidepressants too. That's another just giant load of BS. Most of us don't need that. It's just that we don't have the right purpose. We've got too many distractions. We've got too many pleasures. We've got too much comfort, and it leaves this giant void. So, hey, here we go. I bet there's not one single item in the entire shop that I would put in my body. But yet, these environments are, subconsciously, there's still something, touristy, something exciting about all the retail. I don't want to buy any of this stuff. I don't want to talk to any of these people. I'm just here killing time because the car is getting worked on right now. So I guess, for me, I'm kind of happy that I'm separating myself from these environments. I mean, I'm grateful for the nice warm weather today. But, we all have a purpose. And that purpose is to serve humanity, and we have to find our way to do it. And the more distractions, more pleasures, and more comforts you entertain, the less purpose you actually get to put your time and energy and passion and emotions into. So, as you're trying to figure out what's going on in this world with your life, turn off the video games, turn off your phone, put down the beer, get in the gym, go ride a bike, go do some yoga, and then do it again the next day and the next day. And then pretty soon you'll put down the bottle. And then before you know it, you'll eat better. And it will just keep compounding. So, guys, thanks for coming along on this wild journey with me. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can see this whole thing from the beginning. I'll put the playlist up at the end of the video. It shows me from the time I built out my little presidential motorcade overland limo camper vehicle up to a few months back. I'm trying to get caught up on my editing. Gosh, I'm so scared that something might happen with all the footage. I was living up on a mountaintop in the national forest. Now I'm down living on the beach in the sand dunes. I've started to travel a bunch more. I've locked down a freelance contract that's been elusive, that I've been chasing forever. And, things have all started to fall into place. But another thing I've learned along this mission is if things aren't in place, if things don't fall into place, I can just make stuff happen for myself. That's one of the worst things about having my university degree. I was like, okay, well, now I have to go and find a job that this fits into to go somewhere I want to go. And that's really hard. But, if I just go and find a job, then I can go where I want and live the life I want. And, you know, at least out here on the West Coast, you know, I'm only doing this a couple days a week, and the version of my job I have, it's really fun. It's really cool. I work on a pier on the beach in Pismo Beach. We pool our tips, so I don't get to put a lot of that in my pocket. I'm probably making $25 an hour there 2 days a week. I just didn't want to quit because it's too cool and fun. But, you know, you come out to the West Coast, any state on the West Coast, and you work at a high volume restaurant or bar selling food and beverage, if your tips aren't pooled, you're going to make over $50 an hour. You know, it's probably better than I would get paid with a lot of the jobs I would use my degree for. So I'm pretty sure the goal is to never have to do that again. I don't have to do this one, but I'm going to see this summer through. They're relying on me, and it's so fun and cool. Check out some of my other videos to see where it's at. It's like, it's not even really a job. It's just fun. And, you know, I'm still making a little over $1,000 more a month on top of my freelance, which is got me coasting good now. You know, I mean, I work my ass off on this because if it does work, if everything goes good, I continue to have a lot of freedom for a long time into the future. And if things don't show some real promise after 90 days in, that's it. And I'm back to trying to figure out where to go to serve food and beverage next. And since I don't eat unhealthy and I don't drink unhealthy, it's an environment I'd rather not be in at all. I don't want to surround myself with something that I don't want to live. But I'm also going to do whatever I have to do to not be stuck back in Wichita, Kansas, begging for a job that's probably equivalent to $30,000 or $40,000 a year to use my degree on, and then you know, jump when somebody says jump, dress how they tell me to dress, and not progress my life forward and not serve humanity. So I hope you guys take care of yourselves, be sober, be fit, be safe. If you're a man ready to make your comeback, join the Kombaxx community on Discord.